Welcome to the Recycle Podcast, where we discuss everyday issues from a mental health perspective. We are your hosts,
Dr. LaFonya Jones,
Dr. Rashonda Strickland,
and Dr. Nichelle Wall. Now, don't get it twisted. We're not going to be your stereotypical therapist.
What we will be is down to earth, informative, a little spicy, and vulnerable.
All right, interns, turn up the volume, grab your pen and paper. It's supervision time. As a reminder, this podcast is not meant to take the place of a relationship with a licensed mental health professional.
Welcome back to session 36, Falling Standing Still.
Okay, interns, what this session will be about today is manipulation.
Smell.
So, as customary, we typically give you the definition of the session. So, what is manipulation? Influencing or attempting to influence the behavior or emotions of others for one's own purpose. So, how do you know you're being manipulated? You feel fear, obligation, and guilt. You might feel scared to do it, obligated to do it, or guilty about not doing it.
Now, guys, this is not an exhaustive list of the types of manipulation that are out there because there are dozens, it seems like.
We even had to condense our own list.
Yes. I know when I was doing research, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many different ways you can manipulate a person.
It almost makes you scared to like talk.
It does.
And communicate, because it's like, oh my God, am I manipulating somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Because it almost seems like everything.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
So guys, I was wondering, what do you think is the most commonly used type of manipulation tactic?
I would have to say probably gaslighting. I think because we are so engaged with one another, we tend to communicate with people with a motive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I could definitely see that.
What about you, Dr. Wall?
I would say it's probably a toss-up between gaslighting, projection, and deflection.
Mm.
Ooh.
Now, y'all know we're going to have to explain those.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think we've talked about gaslighting, kind of periodically and sporadically throughout various sessions. But if you guys aren't familiar with this term, gaslighting, so this is basically one person tries to use different tactics in a way to make the other person feel or believe that what they're thinking, feeling is not in reality, and that this person is quote unquote crazy. So the person that is being manipulated starts to feel like, they're essentially losing their mind. Like, what in the world? Well, I thought that's what you meant, or I thought that's what you said. And they don't, they start to question themselves on what they think and what they feel.
Yeah. Does
that sound fair? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
No.
I wasn't sure if y'all were going to add anything.
No, I definitely agree with it. I was just thinking about what you were saying because, I have so many clients come in and it seems like they have that ingrained. Like, they apologize a lot. They was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I didn't mean to say it like that. Wait, hold on. And it makes people seem like they're very timid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And uncomfortable communicating with people. So that's one of the ways you probably need to be mindful. If you communicate that way, you may need to be mindful of who the people you've been communicating with, if they've been gaslighting you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would say when you're dealing with somebody that has gaslit or is gaslighting, your gut is going to tell you like, no, I don't think that's right.
Pay attention to the intuition.
Right. We question ourselves just on a general basis, not even when we're being manipulated. A lot of us question ourselves a lot of the time. But in particular, in situations like this, your mind, and like Dr. Jones just said, your intuition is going to kind of spark when you feel, and you, especially if you know if something is true, but when you feel that, don't deny it. It's okay to question, what you're thinking and feeling, but don't question it with the purposes of denying what you're thinking and feeling.
And don't always question yourself. When you confront someone who's gaslighting you, you'll see them backpedaling. Well, no, I didn't mean that you didn't say that. I'm just saying,
You said what you said.
You said what you said, and you said it with like you meant it.
You said it with your chest.
like Nene said on the reunion, I said what I said.
Okay. I think it's important that, the interns realize, like, when you're self-aware, no one can be the expert of you but you. You are your own expert. So if someone is coming in and telling you that this is like this or this is like this, and that's not across the board with all your friends, family, friend groups, whatever, then there's probably something going on in the manipulation area. Excuse me, y'all.
No, I agree with that.
No, wholeheartedly. It doesn't hurt to sit down and self-reflect. It's a skill that is useful to you in so many ways, not just in the manipulation area, but just in general. Just being able to kind of sit back and look at your day, look at your thoughts, look at your feelings, look at your behavior, and see, what needs to change, what boundaries you need to set with yourself or with others. It's helpful just across the board.
Yeah. And the more you confront someone who's gaslighting, and we'll talk about this on others as well, so you'll probably hear us say this statement a few times, but whenever you feel like you're being manipulated through gaslighting, it's okay to confront. So make sure you confront. That way you won't walk away questioning yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned in our addition to the common ones, projection. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So projection is basically I, as the manipulator, place my feelings onto you. So I may say something like, "Are you mad at me?" Even though I'm really the one that's mad at you.
Yeah.
But I will, in a way, try to make you think that you're mad at me, so that then I can get, let's get this party started.
Wow, that's some true. When I almost cussed.
Because it's like, look, I'm ready to fight. I got an argument, so let me go pick at you real quick and just throw this stuff out there.
I feel like that's so cowardly. If you have some beef with me, just say it. Just come to me and talk about what we need to talk about. Don't be trying to put it on me.
Say it with your chest.
Yeah.
Yes. You the one feel it.
It's similar to what we were talking about in a previous session about, transferring. When we use the example of the movie Two Can Play That Game, how you go in and you transfer off. Not that specific situation is projection, but it's similar in the way the energy flows.
No, I agree.
And sometimes it's because it's hard for me to deal with my own stuff. So if I can make it seem like it's you, then it makes it easier for me to deal with the situation. Because I don't want to face my own stuff on my own.
That reminds me of, I believe all three of us have had couples like this who one of the people really want to get a divorce, but they don't want to be seen as the bad person.
Oh yeah.
So they try to, push the other one to saying or to doing, or doing meaning filing for divorce. And when they just need to say, I want a divorce.
Yeah. Both of y'all bad for each other.
Right.
So just stop it.
Because that's how that's not the only reason why, but that's one of the reasons why, cheating comes in, and mistreatment come in, and if for some, domestic violence. Yeah.
That's a form of projection as well. You hear that a lot. Well, the one person accusing the other of cheating, but it's usually the one that's making the accusation.
I wish somebody
Yes.
would.
That's the one that's cheating.
So I made you cheat. I pulled your pants down and set the whole. Okay.
But
did.
even if I'm not even cheating, you just accusing me of cheating because you cheating.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not cheating.
It just be too much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to throw it out there on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you said deflection, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have deflection on my list.
Well, a basic way to look at deflection is kind of like visually. Y'all know I like visuals. Is the something coming at you, and instead of you absorbing it and processing it, you automatically push it off and redirect into a totally different direction that you weren't previously discussing or talking about, or has nothing to do. So Dr. Strickland and I could have been in here talking about pink bubblegum ice cream from Baskin Robbins, and then I know specific, that's why I chose it. But then because I want some, I may be like, oh, you remember when we went to the park that one time and we saw those geese and we was eating the barbecue? That has absolutely nothing to do with it. It's a protection, tactic, but it's also a form of manipulation to not deal with your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I would be so confused in that conversation.
Yeah.
I'd be like, wait, what? Well, hold on. What? I'm what?
Yeah. This is the hard left turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is not just a slight change in subject. This is like, oh, we made a left turn in Albuquerque. Okay. Yeah. I got you. And it stuns the other person.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps them off their game, and it gives you a way to kind of be up on them,
Mm-hmm.
because now they're like,
am I not moving fast enough? Am I not whatever?
Did I miss something?
Mm-hmm.
I have a client that does this every session. And I talk to the client and I tell them, so you just going to keep deflecting? That's what we're doing in session. Let me know when you're ready to work on your stuff, because I'm not going to keep doing this with you, because this is not healthy for you. This is not my session. So for you to deflect towards me, what you want me to do with that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah. That got me stunned.
I know that deflection is, because it makes me think about like dodgeball.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to have a visual, so you have something coming at you and you just be like, get out of here. Like, wait, how you do that? How you just completely disregard and move on to something that the other person really hasn't even been able to process the first thing that you're even talking about.
It's mad disrespectful.
It is.
I'm like, okay. I'm the type of person, personally, you do that to me, I'm just going to walk off and you're just going to be standing there by yourself. I was like, oh, you must not want to have no conversation with me. You wanted to talk to yourself. Okay, I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm. And see, I'm very opposite of that. I will definitely. So you just going to dismiss what I just said? Oh, that's what we're going to do? See, I am the one who will confront you real quick. That's not what we're talking about. I don't understand what you're saying.
Yes, I think for me, it depends on who I'm talking to. There are certain people.
Because I was getting ready to say, she definitely, if I tried to do that to her, she would, and so would Dr. Wild. So while she's talking about some, she'll walk off. She won't walk off from me.
I mean, people that I don't care about. That's what I'm.
Or either of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely depends on who I'm talking to, because I've had people deflect conversation with me before, and I'm just like, oh, okay, so this what we doing, okay, and then I'm just standing there like,
That's why you got to know the people you're dealing with, because you really gotta have your energy ready to deal with certain people. Because sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, if that happens to me and I'm in certain situations, I'm not gonna have the energy to do all of that. That's why a lot of times people get that version that I said first. Okay, I'm just gonna walk off and leave you there.
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, it does. It with certain people, you do have to be prepared, because you have to know who, like you said, Dr. Wall, you have to know who you're dealing with. You have to know their personality and what's getting ready. But then, the thing is, you also have to know if that person is healthy for you to be in your life too. Because if they do that, I mean, because every now and again and the slip up and all of that, people are not perfect. I get that. But if this is just you, yeah, no, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
This relationship is probably going to end.
Yeah, it's problematic. AF.
She gonna try
As
to get
frequent.
her cuss words in there as much as she can.
I said as frequent.
Okay, so then let's see. Let's jump into another type. Were there anything other words or stuff that y'all want to say about projection? I'm not projection. Sorry, guys. Deflection.
I didn't.
Nope. You had some pretty interesting ones, Dr. Jones.
So I would say the condescending comments. Sometimes people will try to talk down to you using condescending or patronizing or dismissive tone in an attempt to belittle you. So like an example with that would be, don't be silly or don't be stupid. You're being ridiculous.
Who you talking to?
Exactly.
Didn't we have a session on that?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, I know that irritates me. Like I don't like, and it's partially because it's one of my love languages. So don't disrespect me in one of my love languages. Who you talking to?
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I'm from Memphis, and you just don't do that. Don't disrespect me like that, because that's when Memphis me come out, and I try to be delivered from the spirit of slap. And but when I don't like, that's one of the things I don't do is disrespect. You know what I mean? Like I try my best to make sure I'm respectful to people in my life. Now, obviously I'm not perfect, so I do get it wrong sometimes, but the people in my life know they can tell me, and I immediately try to correct it.
Right.
Yeah. When you said that a second ago, it remind me of the little phrase that be going on right now. You in my business. Don't do that.
Yes, for sure.
Uh-huh.
You know, I can't stand condescending. I had a professor in graduate school, and she was one of the most disrespectful women I have ever encountered in my life. To the point where, like, I had to pull a dictionary out to explain to her that you can use that or which in a sentence and it was okay, or you could leave either of them out and the sentence would still be like grammatically correct.
Yeah, because we speak weird English.
And
yes,
we're not supposed to write like we speak, but we do.
Yes. And I don't know what it is about a condescending tone or it really gets into me.
Was this your doctorate or your master's?
Doctorate.
It's something about that school. It's something about that school.
Yes. And like I could feel like the wanting to fight come
Got that
out of
heat
me.
rising
Yeah,
up.
the heat. For those that ascribe to astrology, the Aries in me was rising. And if you know anything about Aries,
They crazy. They choose death daily.
It takes a lot, though. It takes a lot for
It
them to
does.
get there.
It do. It's not easy.
but I could feel it in my bones. And I was like, you know what? Now I got to prove you wrong. Because you're trying to make me believe that what I know to be correct is not correct. So, but for someone that doesn't have that much, kind of self, cause I don't feel like worth is the right word, but that just kind of internal fortitude, they're not going to challenge that.
Yeah, the boundaries are not as firm.
Right. They're just going to roll with it and say, okay, all right, and kind of back down. But this also, the manipulator also has to understand who they're dealing with.
Yeah. They typically choose a certain type of person.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I always love when I can say, oh, you chose the right one. Because you about to get it.
You got the right one today.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Like I said, I'm from Memphis, so we, you gotta you gotta be ready. It's because at any point in time, some gang may try to get you if you're in the right area or something. So I know for me, condescending. Well, from what I'm told, condescending used to be my go-to for protection.
Gotcha.
But I think as I've gotten older, I've learned how to argue better.
Soften.
Yeah, argue better. When I say argue better, I'm not saying being forceful, but like articulate what I'm trying to say better.
You're not trying to cut people before they get to you.
Exactly. And people know me now know that if I use that type of tone with them, to tell me so I can correct it, because that's not what I'm meaning to do. It's just my upbringing. Well, not upbringing, my surroundings.
Yeah. Do you guys believe that this form of manipulation, that some people use it as a protective factor?
Yep.
Yes.
I don't think everybody's coming from the perspective of manipulation. It does manipulate, but then there are people who actually use it for manipulation, you know. But yeah, I do think so.
I would say that that's pretty true for all of these in some way. That you have, it's two ends of the spectrum. You have people that use it for the purposes of manipulating the person in order to get something out of them, or get over on them, or get out of something. And then some people, it happens to manipulate the person, but my intent wasn't to manipulate you.
Yeah. Because I definitely think I was not intending to manipulate anybody.
Yeah.
It was just me protecting myself, because you can't be no punk.
Yeah. Now, interns, that does not mean that you give people the benefit of the doubt, because I do not like that phrase or that action. It means that you are still going to have to hold that person accountable for what they are doing to you. If you don't tell the person, then they're going to continue to run over you, or that might be the purpose anyway, is for them to run over you. So you do have to make sure you set a clear cut boundary.
I definitely agree, because I would not have ever thought that I needed to change anything if it had people not called me out. I'm serious, you know, because my biggest thing, I was always the captain of the dance teams I was a part of. And I would always start with, y'all, I can be very firm. I can be very aggressive. If I'm too aggressive with you, please let me know. Come and talk to me. Don't, feel like you have to talk about me behind my back, or go, come and talk to me so that I can apologize for what I've done. And I can, I can explain to you what I'm meaning. I'm not, because my intentions was never to manipulate anybody.
Right.
They weren't supposed to do that. You were in position of power on the dance team. You know how that go.
But you're right. So I did try to watch my tone, and I watched their behavior. I started being a psychologist a long time ago, but I watched their behavior. So if I did say something and they, in their position changed, their attitude changed, I knew I said something that wasn't right, and so I would immediately try to correct it.
Gotcha.
So that I can make sure it was a smooth practice.
I think something else, while we're talking about types of manipulation, I do think that in the future, something that would be good for us to talk about would be types of leaders, and the expectations and the roles that come along with the different types of leadership.
Yeah,
because you have like this inferential, of course. We're not doing the psych 101 right this second, guys. but I think that would be good, because when you think about manipulation, it has a power differential kind of inherently attached to it.
Yeah.
Because if the person is manipulating with the intent to manipulate, then I already have a step above where you're at, because you're unaware of what my underlying intention is.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Okay. So what else is on your list, Dr. Jones?
So I have devaluation, or jokes at your expense. And this one is they may tease you online, seek to humiliate you in front of others by making fun of the way you walk, talk, or dress, or even worse, about something you can't control, such as your eyes, nose, ears, face, height, or skin color.
This one's a hard one for me, because my husband and I play the dozens with each other.
As you have said before.
All the time. And just hearing that, I'm like, dang, are we out here manipulating each other?
No, y'all joking.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a different situation. This person, you're not coming from a place of disrespect. Y'all are both in agreement, because that's what manipulation. That's the problem. Both parties are not in agreement with what is being said and what's going on.
And your motives are not trying to get anything from either of the person, either of the people.
Yeah.
And so this one reminded me of the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is a lie. Words
the
do.
lies.
Mm-hmm.
Pure lies.
Words can actually hurt you, and they stick and stay.
If anything, I would go to say it's the exact opposite. Words are the things that hurt you and, stay for years and years and years and years. And while the sticks or whatever that, means, those hurt for the temporary, and, you may bleed a little bit, but eventually that piece is going to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And you may even have a scar from it, but it's still healed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in this particular area of manipulation, the humiliation is just no joke. Like that makes my skin crawl. So I don't do well with that. So even like when I have to help my couples in the BDSM world, that is a form of that humiliation. It's hard for me to do that one, and I have to refer them out because I'm like, I'm going to fight one of y'all. So, so I think you have to really, listen. Like, and I think that's going to be the commonality amongst all of these. You really have to listen to your inner person and be like, okay, am I okay with this? Like, what are they doing? Like, and you have to think, this person is supposed to love me or at least like me. Why would they have to do that to me?
Mm-hmm.
But then they take it a step further and say you're being too sensitive or you're being overly emotional.
Yeah.
Like that part right there is what pisses me off.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't tell me how I feel. I tell you how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all done got mad.
Come back.
Well, I was just thinking along the same lines of what you ladies were saying, is that it dehumanizes you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It takes away your ability to just be in a moment.
Yep.
You don't get a chance to process. You don't get a chance to really think about it because you're already telling me that what I'm thinking is wrong and you shouldn't be doing that. And you're being,
So then let me make jokes about you then. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even asking permission. Let me just start it.
But they can't handle that. That's...
Oh, but who now who being too sensitive? See, I'm petty.
Them. Them. And, I will honestly say the last serious relationship I was in, I had that all through it. But because we had been together off and on for so long, you kind of overlook stuff like that until one day you just fully grow into your woman and you just like, oh, this MNF is crazy. This the edited version. This MNF is crazy. I'm gonna have to yoke him verbally,
This
So
must be some friction.
It's just it don't work. And at the end of the day, you kind of have to sit back and be like, why would you need to talk to me like that?
Right.
To get your needs met. Especially when you have an individual that is willing to meet whatever your needs are.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you have to be careful with that. And then they try to give you an insincere apology just to shut you up.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Well, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings.
Oh,
that.
I couldn't get it out my mouth fast enough. Well, I'm sorry you felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wait, what? What do you mean you're sorry that I felt that way?
Mine is always, oh, well, I didn't mean that.
Y'all should have saw all of our faces. We all froze.
But you said it though.
If you didn't mean it, why'd you do it? You don't have no self-control?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly.
Yeah.
It's
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's certain tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM.
So yeah, y'all got to tell us what y'all think about those.
I know. Look, we only about a little less than halfway in, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Those were enough right there. We probably could stop.
Okay. Because I'm like, we haven't even gotten into the types of manipulation that involve other people.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of that, look at that segue. Thank you, Dr. Strickland.
How's she gonna thank herself?
So one other type of manipulation is triangulation. And so this is now, I'm going to manipulate, but I'm going to add some folks to the mix or the manipulation.
I don't need nobody 50 cent in this.
So what this particular type is, so if I am, having a discussion with you or an argument with you, and then we're in front of somebody. So let's say it's me, Dr. Jones, and Dr. Wall, and me and Dr. Jones are having a discussion, and we are disagreeing about something, and I go say, Dr. Wall,
Nope.
tell Dr. Jones XYZ. That's triangulation. So what I have now just done is I've tried to get somebody to come onto my side to add more weight to my argument to overpower the other person and basically shut them out.
Just to piggyback off of what you were saying earlier, a lot of times triangulators are people in leadership roles as well. Kind of similar to the person that just left office.
Okay, I'm going to turn my mic off. I'm going to turn it right on off so I can say what I need to say.
Yes. I was thinking you see triangulation a lot in families.
Oh, yes.
A lot.
Yeah, especially when it's parents and children.
You see it in divorce proceedings, custody battles. You try to get the child on my side.
Tell your mama you want to stay with me. That should not be. I'm 6.
Or tell your wife. You tell yourself.
I know.
Yeah. I was
Worry
thinking,
about yourself.
Tell your tell me what's going on at your mama house.
Why am I in the middle? I don't want to be in the middle. And then if they don't, then you in trouble.
Right.
That is so unhealthy for children. So if parents of interns, please don't do your children like that.
Right. Because the only thing that a triangulator is doing is proving that you don't have the ability to articulate your argument in an effective way. So now you need somebody else to do it for you.
Reinforcement.
So you either need to just stop because you don't have enough information. You haven't developed a way to speak what you're trying to say in a way that, gets your point really across. Like you need to stop and disengage from the discussion instead of manipulating the other person to try to get somebody on your side and, double team this person.
Yeah, I agree. I think people have to learn how to articulate what it is that they're trying to communicate. Because in my sessions, and I'm sure you ladies probably do this too, I have clients that come in and they're like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to explain it. And I tell them, just say the words that's in your head and we'll figure it out and put it together.
All the time.
And so that may be, if you're not used to communicating and articulating what you are thinking and feeling, you may have to start out that way. And you may have to preface the conversation by saying, hey, I'm just going to say the thoughts that's in my head and my emotions that's attached to it. It may not sound right. I'll fix it up. I just need to say what's in my head.
Brain dump.
Yeah. People can be a lot more forgiving if you do something along those lines. Because then they already know that it may come out sideways.
Yes.
And I won't take it personally. But if you just walk up to me and start saying some crazy bull, corn, and
Problem.
it's going to be, consequences and repercussions up in here.
Right. Because the thing is, honestly, the three of us do that to each other all the time, not toward each other, but we may need to vent. And we just kind of say it how we need to say it, and we don't take offense to it because we know it's not directed towards us. We just needed to say what we needed to say.
Yeah,
absolutely.
One other thing with triangulation, is also important that you realize that there are times where the person that is the perpetuator of this is trying to get other people to be seen in a different light too. So it's almost a touch of bullying, but it's not technically the visualization is not bullying, but behind the scenes it's like it's a manipulation of how other people are viewing this person and trying to get them to be at the top of the hierarchy by manipulating other people to come in and boost them up.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me a lot of splitting. So we're going to preface this in asterisk disclaimer for our therapist heads out there. We know that splitting specifically is related to borderline personality.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the type of splitting we're talking about. We are talking about splitting with the purposes of manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
So what Dr. Wall was just describing, that reminds me a lot of splitting, is kind of where you control the information between two sets of people to basically control the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that narrative could be that person's image, you know, how a sequence of events, you know, kind of took place. It could be a lot of different reasons, but your purpose is that I want it to go the way that I want it to go.
That reminds me of the session we did on family secrets.
Yes.
Where they only control, you know, what is being released outside of the family, or what people even within the family know has actually happened. So we got to make sure this person continues to look pristine and all of that. So yeah, manipulation can be in multiple areas.
Oh,
So in
sure.
order for you to avoid the triangulation, you know, if you have to speak with someone regarding a touchy subject, have a difficult conversation with someone, be ready to have that conversation with them alone, or not in the presence of other people. Or if they need to have a difficult conversation with you, make sure, like, if they need to have a witness, then you're not ready to talk to me. Because you obviously will not be able to articulate what you need to say in confidence, in knowing that you believe what you believe, and you're saying what you're thinking.
And if you need somebody, then you need to go to mediation. That's somebody that is unbiased between the two of you, not someone that's on your side or on the other person's side. So mediation is an option.
Yes,
Absolutely. Okay. You had some additional ones as well, Dr. Jones?
yes. Oh, I did.
Okay.
So let's see. Exploders. You want to go to that one?
Yeah.
Okay. These are people who bully others because it seems to work for them. Most people are terrified of conflict and confrontation. These people, you feel like you have to walk on eggshells around.
Absolutely. You know, this reminds me of like I think of like bar fights. When I think of exploders, like, what are you trying to huff and puff and like get your chest out? Like, you know, you don't want to fight. You really don't want to fight, but like,
They acting aggressive and hostile.
So I'm going to try to manipulate the situation because I really don't want to fight. But if I look real big and like scary, then, you know, maybe you'll believe me and like not.
That reminds me of dogs with a big bark.
Yeah. You think they're way bigger or way more vicious.
These are really, this is really the true definition of a bully, but we won't talk about bully in its traditional form. This is the manipulation part of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so exploders are people that have really huge emotional displays, because this just doesn't mean anger. You know, this isn't just screaming and yelling. This is you start crying all of a sudden, and you know your
facial expressions, your body language,
right?
All of that sends like a clear message that I'm trying to motivate or manipulate you to do something I want you to do.
Overly happy people. Overly happy.
Oh,
You know, it's not just the negative emotions. It can be the ones that people deem to be positive.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That love bombing kind of thing.
Oh God.
Ooh, that irritates me.
I mean, yes. Hey, love.
Yeah. I mean, it's manipulation.
Yeah.
You know, it's not necessarily an explosion. I mean, no, it's an explosion of love. It's a bomb.
And that reminds me of people who know that their relationship is at the end, and they try to do everything to prevent from being abandoned.
No, we're breaking up. We're done.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
This is over. It's nothing you're going to be able to do.
But these people, you know, exploders. So if you know, use your emotional, you know, kind of display to control the situation, this makes people not want to deal with you because you're probably the most visual out of all of the manipulators. It's the easiest to see and kind of spot because it's like, oh, hold on. Oh, here you go. Right.
It's just intimidation because they want to make sure that whenever they say jump, you say how high.
Is this the one where the voice starts getting raised? Y'all know. I'm always like, so you talking louder? You think that don't prove your point? No. That make you screaming. Why are you screaming?
They're yelling. I found a quote by Desmond Tutu. He said, "Don't raise your voice, improve your argument."
Yeah.
Because people raise their voice in an attempt to dominate the conversation and intimidate you into backing down.
The louder you talk don't make you more right.
If anything, it makes you look more foolish.
Loud and wrong. Yes. That's a real statement. Loud and wrong.
And that's the one who gets caught. The way you confront this type of person is you ask them, why are you yelling? And be just as calm and non-aggressive, non-emotional, non-submissive, but very matter of fact. Why are you yelling? And then they're going to say, because I'm angry. I'm pissed off. Yeah, but why are you yelling?
And that's something you can also, on another note, use with your children when they are having an explosion of emotions. You know, what do you need from me? Like, how can I help you? Like, you don't go there with them. You need to use your Michelle Obama. When they go low, we got to go high. Like in this situation, because it ain't gonna work out well if y'all both just escalating.
Yeah, you have to learn how to de-escalate the situation.
Yeah, because it puts me in the mind that an exploder is gonna want one of two things from you. They're either gonna want you to back down and kind of cower and do what they want you to do, or you have the people that are on the more extreme end that want you to rise up with them.
I'm trying to figure out which one I would be.
Because I'm ready for the fight.
Y'all know I'm always
ready yes, I'm always I told y'all,
get these hollow points.
I will I will be LaFanya at this point. No. As a matter of fact, I'm not even LaFanya. I am Fonnie.
Hey. It's just certain things, when you get to certain places, you can't come back from. Yeah. So you done made somebody else come out, and she's going to meet you gladly. You be prepared.
Yeah. I talk with clients about, when you are kind of going up that mountain of anger and frustration or whatnot, and because this is going to be manipulative, and this is, again, whether you can use it both ways with the intent to manipulate, or it just happens to be a manipulation. You need to be catching it on the way up.
Yes. Because
once you've reached the peak of that mountain of whatever type of heightened emotion that you're experiencing, you got to let it ride itself out. You're not going to be in a headspace to hear calm down or, let's talk it out. You're just not going to be there. But if you can catch it on the way up, when you're at annoyed or frustrated or irritated, you can handle the situation much better versus when you've gotten all the way up to rage.
And the thing is, we say, we're always ready and things of that nature, but please trust and believe we're therapists. And honestly, we try to put that hat down, but when something like that comes up, I think for all of us, we probably put that hat back on, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna listen to you for a minute, and I'm gonna try to help. And I'm gonna try to make sure, I can try to help you come back down, but please don't take me for no punk, because what you not getting ready to do, y'all should see me. I'm talking to my mic like somebody is in front of me. What you not gonna do?
And see, I think people don't realize when you get to a place of calm rage, it's worse, because now I'm calculated and I'm considering all things. I'm not just acting impulsively. I'm like, I got a whole plan. And once we get out this situation, for me personally, you probably not ever gonna see me again. Because I don't like the way you handling me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because I will leave you. I'm not, because I don't like Fonnie to come out. Not no more.
No.
Not the
I done
mean
reached
version.
my
No.
self-actualization
Yes.
Yep. She over
at
here
the top
pouting,
of
y'all.
my Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
And you're pulling me down from the top of my pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all don't want Nichelle to come out.
Yeah.
Don't too many people know her.
I'm glad I don't.
Yeah. Only people that know Fonnie is my family.
So no explosion. Explosion. Okay. So do we have any other types that we want to, because again, guys, we said this at the beginning of the session. There are so many types of manipulation that it would be almost impossible for us to cover them all in one session. We would literally just be sitting here reading definitions to you guys. So one that I wanted to add was moving the goalpost.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
So those that don't know what moving the goalpost is you set some expectation for a person and then they reach that expectation, but then you say, okay, but now I need you to do this. And you just keep doing that. So that person never actually reaches the point of where they've accomplished whatever it is that you wanted them to accomplish. So for example, if you and your spouse are, having some sort of disagreement and you say, well, if you just go to therapy, then we'll be okay. So then they go to therapy and you're still not happy. So, well, if you just take me on a trip, then we'd be good. And take you on a trip. Well, now I need you to, I want to have a baby. So now you have a baby. Well, now I need you to
buy me a house.
And you just keep stacking and stacking and stacking. And the person never gets to the end result.
Yeah.
The touchdown.
First of all, if you with someone and they say all of that and then they want a baby, no.
You don't want to share that with them.
Because then if you feel like at any point that you need to leave, now you stuck.
And
when I say stuck, even if you do still decide to leave, you still stuck because you have a child together.
And you got to share.
Absolutely. I've had several of my lady clients deal with the moving of the goalpost on both sides. Them moving the goalpost for their partner. And, one of the struggles that they had was hearing how unfair that was to their partner, despite what their partner was putting them through. That, you've set these goals for him, for you to stay in this relationship. And he's making attempts to do this. But now you want to add on all of this extra stuff because you see him making progress there. But you didn't lay out all of this stuff from the get-go.
Yeah, because most of the time they don't want to stay in the first place. They just are not in a good enough place to say, I don't want you no more.
Or the thing is, they're not happy with themselves. So they're expecting for someone else to make them happy or peaceful, content, all of those. And every time they, reach that goal and they're still not happy, it's like, why am I still not happy? I thought that's what I wanted. And so now I'm asking you to do something, so on and so forth.
And it leaves the other person, that's experiencing you moving the goalpost or whatnot. It leaves them with this sense of they'll never be good enough. I can't make you happy. It's always something, you'll hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're never satisfied. You always want more. I can't never do anything to please you. Like it'll always be something in that line. And it really starts to mess with the other person's, kind of self-esteem, self-image, and self-confidence. And it will lower, the way they feel and think about themselves because you're constantly telling them that they need to do more and more and more. And it doesn't matter whether they've achieved the other thing or not.
Yeah.
You just keep adding on.
And then the thing is, I've had couples like that and they come in and I ask them, well, what is it that's going to bring you joy in your life? And they don't even know. And so then I have to start confronting that, because obviously that's something that's brought out in the session. So how are you expecting for your spouse to accomplish this or meet that expectation, and you don't even know if it's going to make you satisfied or not?
Right.
So why do they need to keep trying?
Absolutely.
Y'all, another one that I think is important for us to kind of visit, and we talked about it, but I feel like because we also have a large following of women, the flirt. And it's essentially, men and women can do this, but you see it oftentimes with women, and they tend to use their womanly wiles
Yes.
to get what they want. They're attracting people, they're pulling them in, and they're using something. A lot of times it is sexual. A prime example of this is a gold digger. She gonna do what she need to do to get the coins.
Yes.
Secure the bag. So I think it's important that you realize that is a form of manipulation, because you're not being genuine, you're not being honest, you're not showing up as like whoever it is you are, but it's utilizing sex or some type of physical touch or something like that as a catalyst to move the person into the area that they want them to be in.
Yeah, that body language is serious on that.
Oh yeah.
Body roll.
Hair flip.
Yeah, I would also say that the flirt is somebody that, they just enjoy being the center of attention, and they love people giving them accolades and all. So they will, manipulate situations so that, that all is kind of placed on me, and that can be done in a variety of ways. I may act out and act bratty, or I may sexualize myself.
I may ghost you for a couple of days,
right? Because it's about me, and you not making it about me. So now I got to do something to
punish you,
grand.
Yeah, and they don't typically ever feel remorse. It's always like, oh, well, then they shouldn't have been stupid enough to believe me or stupid enough to follow through with what I asked them to do. Really?
I didn't tell him he had to spend his money. He just said he wanted to spend his money on me.
Yeah. No comment. I had a whole...
I saw that.
I saw a situation pop up in my head, because I have a sugar baby. For people who don't know what a sugar baby is, it is someone who is significantly younger than the person that they are dating. So a sugar baby, sugar daddy, or sugar mama, or if you're non-binary, glucose guardian. So
hold on, wait a minute. You can't
skip over that,
gloss over that. Like we didn't just hear you say
glucose guardian, glucose dependent. But either way, you see that oftentimes in those types of relationships.
What is a glucose guardian?
She's still trying to gloss over the fact that she said.
What y'all want to know? What
is it? Tell us.
A sugar daddy or a sugar mama.
Oh,
it's just a non-binary version.
Oh,
okay.
Educate us.
I know, because I have never heard of that.
Me neither.
I was like, wait a minute, that's gluten free? What is going on?
Not gluten free.
Okay, you got that diabetes version?
Like, what is going on here?
I was like, glucose guardian. I was like, let me get some of that glucerna. Oh my goodness. Lord, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna start using that instead of sugar daddy and sugar mama and sugar baby. I'm gonna say your glucose guardian. Actually, all of the oses: sucrose, maltose, glucose,
sugars, the sugars,
all the sugars, fructose.
I got my eyes running.
I love that one. Oh. This is no shade, please, to our non-binary folks.
No,
these just jokes.
Yeah, we honestly, we really didn't know what that was.
Yeah, that was literally my first time hearing that ever in my 37.75 years.
I'm not telling you how old I am.
First of all, it's not 7.5.
0.95.
Thank you. I was like,
oh goodness.
But yes, what else we see? We deflected.
Non-manipulative.
Yeah, because you didn't even finish telling us.
No, I was just using that as an example for like that type of relationship tends to have someone who is a flirt and manipulates with their body to get what they want, or the anticipation of probably getting that. Because a lot of times, to be honest, sugar babies don't really do a lot of sexual things. They're just arm candy or they're companions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good old time at the end here.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny to me.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. Well, do we want to dive into any more types of manipulation, or do we want to?
I think we've given them a substantial list.
Yeah, because I feel like if we keep going, it's never ending.
Yes.
Y'all, it is never ending manipulation.
I think we can give them this to digest and see if this is going on in their lives before we give them an exhaustive
list. Because I'm telling you guys, Dr. Jones probably got about 6 more types. I think I got about 4 or 5 more on mine, and ain't no telling how many Dr. Wall got over there on her list. So, like we said earlier, this is not an exhaustive list of the types of manipulation, but we did want to give you an introduction to, so like Dr. Jones said, so you can be aware of kind of how, people are dealing with you, how you're dealing with other people. So that you're more aware, because, one of the points of what we're doing here is we want to help educate you on what's going on around in your world so that you can move differently. We also want to make you laugh, because we love the joke and, be clowns up in here, but we still want to do it with a little bit of Psych 101 mixed in there.
Yes.
Okay, so as is customary, guys, we usually end our sessions off with a quote, and it will be brought to you today. Dr. Wall.
So the quote reads, "If there is someone in your life that you can't speak the truth to, and you walk on eggshells to avoid upsetting them, you are being controlled or manipulated."
Must be this volume control.
So, okay, interns, process your notes. Be sure to catch us next session and find us on all major platforms at The Recycled Podcast.
If you're a new intern, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Thanks for listening. And remember, we are shifting and reshaping our psyche through healing conversations and connections, one discussion at a time.